Hi there, it's Nicole here today, and I have a backyard scene card showcasing the Sunny Studio Backyard Bugs stamp set, as well as incorporating a new die from Pretty Pink Posh. It's a window frame die, and then a grassy border from Lawn Fawn. So kind of lots of different things going on here. I did lay out a bunch of supplies to start out the card just to kind of make sure everything was going to fit. And then I decided to go ahead and stamp and color the images from the Sunny Studio stamp set first, so that the ink dried kind of while I was working on the rest of the card. So I'm going to stamp a bunch of images from the Backyard Bugs stamp set to completely build my scene. I've got the little mushroom house, the caterpillar, a ladybug, a flower pot, and several flowers, not only the one for the flower pot, but several little ones, the leaves, another little mushroom, and a bumblebee. I am stamping all of these with some intense black ink from Simon Says Stamp. This is a great ink for lots of different coloring mediums. I'm actually using the Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers. I've stamped the images on some Bristol Smooth cardstock, which is my preferred cardstock for coloring with these Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers. They go on really smooth. They blend beautifully. These are a water-based marker. So I like to lay down my dark color first and then blend out with the lighter color. I generally use 2 shades per color. I colored in the green areas there on the flowers and the leaves first, and then I'm skipping over to the red, which I'm using for the top portion of the mushrooms. Not only the smaller mushroom, but the large mushroom house as well. I have listed the colors along the top of the screen. I had some requests to, instead of using the numbers that coordinate for these markers, using the name of the color instead. So across the top of the screen, I am showing the names of each of the markers I'm using. The May green and yellow green are for the green, Carmine red and light carmine for the red, and then mustard and yellow is what I'm using right here for the yellow portions at the top of each of the mushrooms. I'm laying down the mustard and then blending out with the yellow. I'm hoping by using the names of the colors, it maybe helps a little bit to explain how, or to coordinate, or if you want to use the same colors, it's easier to grab from your stash. The numbers that do coordinate, if you go more by that, are going to be listed below in the supplies along with the name both ways, so you can definitely check that out if you need to. For the brown portion along the bottom of the mushrooms, I'm using the dark brown and the beige. Then around the window and door on the little mushroom house, I am going back with my Carmine red, just tracing around that with one color. The insides of the windows are going to be a light blue, little bit of the light blue marker there, just kind of very, very quickly colored in. The flower pot, I'm using brown and beige. So I'm putting down the brown marker first and then blending it out with the beige. And going back in with the brown again if I blended it out a little too much. The caterpillar, I thought would be fun to do him in rainbow. So I'm starting out with the reds, which again is the Carmine red and light carmine. The orange for the next section, then yellow for the third, May green and yellow green for the fourth section, light blue and cornflower blue, and then for the last, I'm using light violet and violet. For the feet, I am going to use, I believe, the dark gray. Yes, that's the dark gray marker. I'm going to go ahead and color in my flower, the largest flower, with my 2 purple colors, the light violet and violet. Laid down the dark color first, the violet, and then blend out with the light violet, and use a little yellow for the center. The ladybug are my Carmine red and light carmine, as well as pale gray and dark gray. The bumblebee is the yellow and the dark gray and pale gray. I'm going to feather in a little pale gray for the wings, and then I'll show you how I blend those out and make them sparkly in a second. I'll go ahead and color in the rest of these small flowers with the rest of the colors listed. Just same colors that I've been using other places in these images. I didn't pull out any new colors. The Wink of Stella Clear Glitter Brush Pen will help. It has a little bit of water in it, so it will blend out if you use it that way, so it blends into those wings. I use the Coordinating Backyard Bugs dies to die cut all of my images. And then I'm ready to build my background. I am taking this window frame die from Pretty Pink Posh and using it on a sheet of Tim Holtz watercolor cardstock, which is A2 sized already. Then from another scrap sheet here from a project that I did a while back, I'm going to die cut a grassy border. I am using watercolor cardstock because I'm going to be using distress inks to color the scene, and I want it to blend better. And I find that I really like how it blends when I'm using water on watercolor cardstock. I'm applying Mowed Lawn and Twisted Citron distress inks to my grass. Just using my scrap piece of paper to keep my fingers out of the ink. I'm going to darken up those tips of the grass again. Next, I'm going to color in the window portion, which is going to be the sunshine. I want it to look like the sunshine coming up over the horizon. I'm going to color that in with Carved Pumpkin and Squeezed Lemonade distress inks. Again, I'll just use my scrap piece of paper to keep my fingers out of that. Then for the blue sky, I am using Blueprint Sketch and Tumbled Glass distress inks. I'm going to apply the Blueprint Sketch ink first. It's going to be near the horizon. It's going to be the darkest point. And then I'm going to blend in the Tumbled Glass distress ink, blending those really well together. I'm not going to take the ink all the way to the bottom because that's going to be covered up with the grass anyway, so there's no need to apply the ink there. I'm going to take water from a distress sprayer and spritz all of these pieces with water and then dab that dry with a dry paper towel, and it's going to leave some great water spotting there. I'm going to add a few more droplets to these pieces. Go ahead and dry those with my paper towel. And I like to set those aside to air dry. You could definitely hit them with a heat tool to dry that quicker. I'm taking a black glaze pen and adding detail to the eye on the bumblebee, the eyes on the caterpillar, as well as the antenna on each of my little critters. So the bumblebee, caterpillar, and the ladybug. Plus, I'm going to go ahead and dot the little dots there on the ladybug's body. I am ready to stamp my greeting, and I'm going to curve that greeting to match the curve of the window frame die. Ink that up with the intense black ink, and I'm going to stamp that right along the curve of the top curve there of my sunshine. And then there is a bumblebee trail from the Backyard Bugs stamp set that I am going to stamp along the sunshine so it looks like the bumblebee is flying there in front of the sun. So as soon as I figure out exactly which way I want that to go, I'll move everything else out of the way, ink that up again with the intense black ink, and stamp that right there. I have not attached anything yet at this point. I generally like to do any of my stamping, any embossing, anything like that before I start attaching things, just in case there happens to be a mistake or something. It's a lot easier to fix if I haven't already adhered everything. I'm going to lay the opening in place over a side fold Simon Says stamp card and then attach my sunshine. And then on the back of the blue sky panel, I am going to add some foam adhesive just for a little bit of dimension. And I'm going to pretty much cover the back of this panel so that it's nice and flush and it doesn't have any areas that maybe get squished down, especially when mailing it. I'll peel all of that off. You could definitely even maybe double up the foam tape and create a shaker card with this design if you wanted to. I considered it and then I decided, it had so much going on already. There's lots of cute little images. I just wanted to do the dimension for this card. Once that's in place, I will attach my grass along the bottom, and then I can start tucking in all of these cute little pieces. Some of them might need a little foam tape. If they overlap the area, which the sunshine, which is flush with the card and doesn't have any foam adhesive on it, you might need a couple pieces of foam adhesive. So the mushroom house and the flower pot both have a little foam adhesive. A lot of the other images do not. The flower is going to need some foam adhesive as well, since it's going to be adhered over that area that is flat or flush with the card. Or a card base, I guess I should say. Now it's simply adhering all my images to create a cute backyard bug scene, which is so super fun. Some of the images I'm tucking in front of the grass or adhering in front of the grass. Some I am tucking behind the blades of grass. It gives a more natural, realistic look. I'll put the little mini flowers here to the left of the mushroom house and adhere some of the cute little leaves. I'm using some bling glue dots. They're small and perfect for these very small stamped and die cut images. In fact, I dropped that one and it kind of stuck. And then I'm going to finish my card with a scattering of clear droplets and sparkling clear sequins from Pretty Pink Posh. And that is going to finish up this backyard bugs scene. So super cute and fun, using stamps and dies from the Sunny Studio Stamps collection, as well as a Pretty Pink Posh die and a Lawn Fawn border die. Thanks for joining me for this Backyard Bugs card. The supplies I've used are listed and linked below the video on YouTube. Here are a couple more videos you might be interested in on my channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.